I'm going to do this video a little different. My name's Larry Fulmer, and I'm going to do a video on a quantum healing hypnosis therapy session I did. It was a group session, and it was ran by Tara Ann and another lady that was doing a session of sound healing first, which was just beautiful, but I don't remember her name right now. I'm sorry. I'll get it and put it in the description underneath. So this, I don't have an audio or a video to this session. It wasn't done that way because it was a group thing. But I did put it into a Word document as soon as I got home to the computer. I had wrote down what I got out of it, and right after, at the end of the session, she told us to write down everything and write it, what we remembered. And I remembered some things on the drive home because it was in Spartanburg and I live in Newberry, so that's about an hour drive. I kept having to pull over and make notes. But I got it all covered. And for me, this one was a positive experience. And I'm gonna read it out like I've got it down in my Word document. So you'll hear some of this a little bit again, but I'm going to read the whole thing. It's not very long. And I've had two other sessions since this one that I've got videos for one, and I've got audios for the other. And I don't have very good movie making, video making programs right now, but I'm going to try to come up with something real soon so I can post those two sessions soon after I post this one. I hope you bear with me, find it of interest. Experience, I thought it was going to be past life, but it turns out none of my stuff for the last 6 months or so has been past life. And you'll learn more about this as I keep going with more of these videos. Okay, so here I'm going to start the Word document. Okay, my QHHT information for regression. I went to the Path to Healing Reiki Meditation, Sound Bath, and Past Life Regression today. This was Sunday, February 12th of 2023 from 11 to 2. It was an estimated time. I think it went a little longer than that. At the Love and Light Family Chiropractic on East Main Street in Spartanburg. I got more details if you want it. Lisa Elias with Soulful Healing is a Reiki master and sound healer. And I can put her Facebook in the description. And the past life regression was Tara Ann. She's a QHHT practitioner, quantum healing hypnosis treatment. Okay, and I'll put her link in the bottom, and she calls her thing Cosmic Connection, and you could probably Google that. So I was impressed with this session of healing. For the sound, she used big crystal bowls, had 7 or 8 of them, I think. And she had some chimes and things. And I had never been to a sound bath healing session in person. So this was new for me. And I really liked it. I enjoyed it. And I plan to go again as soon as I get the chance. And I really learned some things about myself in the regression that I didn't know. So I want to do a special thanks to Lisa and Tara for what they've done for me. Okay, so here's the main part of the document. The session started with some talk from Lisa about the sound therapy, laid down on the yoga mat on the floor, and being very, very relaxed. I was. Okay, she had 7 or 8, I think, crystal singing bowls and a set of standing chimes. And Tara talked about her guided visuals for trance, like a hypnosis. And I got down on the floor and I was very relaxed and laid back. I knew about the singing bowls and I really wanted to be open to the session. When Lisa started the bowls, I learned they could be played really loud, and I could feel the vibrations almost like it was from the floor and the air. And I kind of had my hands spread out on the floor so I could feel the vibrations. I was getting really into it. The changing of the bowls she used gave excellent sounds for a tune. I thought she must have been doing this for a very long time because it was really nice, laying there enjoying it greatly. And I don't know how long that really went, but there was a point where Tara started talking at the end of the sounds, the bowls. But it wasn't a very long break. She started in a room with a door. Go through the door. Down the stairs. Go down the hall. There's a door at the end of the hall. Okay. When I saw this door in my mind, using visuals, you do what she says and see what she says, and you go. So when I got down to this door at the end of the hallway, I heard a whoosh. And I wrote down kind of like the sound on Star Trek when the doors to the command deck opened and shut. And she said, go through the door. I think now this is where my session took on a different one from the others that later shared their experiences. When I stepped through that door, I suddenly became apprehensive. Looking around, I didn't see anything at all. When I went to look back to my right, I saw nothing until I looked over my shoulder. And then this was when I noticed a mantis alien standing there. Right there, right off to my side. And he said, come with me. And he wasn't speaking, it was telepathic. And I must say, I was reluctant to follow, but I did. Another door silently opened. This time when I walked through, there was another mantis alien and two tall whites. I'm not going to say they were Nordics for sure, because I'm not sure if they were Nordics or what, but you'll see in a minute. So there was these tall whites that I call them tall whites. They were blonde, about 8 foot tall, chalky skin. And there was also two humans there. And they just looked at me like they were appraising me, figuring out who and what I was, I sort of assumed at this point that they were looking to me as, was I a good fellow? Was I straight? By straight I mean, do I do things right? Such as that. Okay. After a minute or so of that, I was asked to put my hand in a box the man put forth, and I did. I wasn't really hesitant. I put my hand right on the end, and a light ran over my hand that you could see, kind of like the light you see on a copier scanner on a printer. And I was told I could take my hand back now. One of the tall white blondes telepathically asked me my name, and I told him. And the man asked me to follow him, the human, and I went to a room that had other people. I later remembered all the faces that I had saw in that room from when I wrote this document. So they were all children, but they were alien children and human children. And the human children were all sort of off to themselves, but were friendly to the other children who came there that were the ET children, the alien ET children. That's what I felt from them, that everybody was friendly. And the next thing I remember, we were in a training to be soldiers in space. Now, you're just going to have to follow this and some other videos I've showed, but this particular session, it was a positive thing for me, so just check it out. So after this training, I remember the door opening again. And we walked out onto an orange-colored planet. And we were there to free human slaves, I had been told. And I felt good about that, human slaves. I'm like, okay, it's my first real session. I'm getting into it. I'm getting all these signals and things in my head. It's more like a memory than a session like I was expecting. And there were some dog-headed men there that were we were freeing the humans from those dog-headed men. Okay. And I remember having to shoot one with the rifle I had. It shot out a wave of plasma thing out of it and killed the dog man. That's all about that I remember right now, okay? The next thing I saw was I was standing in a clearing on some land, and there were really tall trees on the other side. I mean, not normal. They were so tall. Trees on the other side. And I saw another tall white alien standing there. Now, this one was what I call a tall white. And I no longer felt fearful or anxious. And he approached me, so I started to him. I figured it was friendly. I just knew, you know. And he told me his name was Balak. And he spelled it to me in my head. Capital B-A-L, capital A-C-K. He gave me a gray cube and he told me to open it just this once. So I did. And at first I thought it looked like oil inside. And I looked at him and he said, "It's not oil, look again." And I did. It appeared to have a half box full of black grease, you know, oil, black grease. That's what I called it. And he said, in my head, that this is black goo and do not ever touch it. When he said that, I knew from what it was from my researching online for years now, because I've been into ufology almost, well, now it has been 30 years. And I knew what some of these super soldiers and some of these secret space people and some of these 20 and back program people have talked about this black goo and what it is. It's nothing good, people. If you get it on you, you got problems. Okay, you're more controlled than you are now. And he said that is black goo. Do not ever touch it. And I just said that, you know, I had been researching for years now. So he told me that much of my physical and mental issues were from my other lives. And I would learn more about other lives and other remembrances very soon. And I would hear more from him in the very near future. And the next thing I remember is something like Tara telling us to wake up in the room now. And that took me a little bit. You know, I wanted more, you know, like any other person would. So I did have to add some things to the above that I did not say in the class. When I told the class, you know, everybody went through what they saw. Some people were talking about flowers and bees and birds, and some people had memories of had a session filled with some higher person, spiritual person, you know, spirit guides and things. That was not what I had. I was pretty shook by it because up until this point, I had nothing other than some divinations about past lives. I didn't really have a whole lot on ETs and such, you know. So I was pretty shocked by this thing, and I went and done a lot more research because I thought I was just interested in UFOology stuff. I didn't know I was part of what I had been studying. So in the document, I said that, well, I did have some things to add that I didn't say in class, which has already been put into this document so far. And a couple of them occurred to me on the ride home, like I said right before I started the Word document, because that was pretty much the end of the session. It was pretty short, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. I felt like that was short for that. But it was good. It was all good. And I plan to start some astral travel meditation soon and see what other information comes up. So I may be updating this document. And I typed this document and finished it and checking it and everything on Monday, February 13th at 7:10 a.m. I didn't sleep much that night. So that was that document that I've now put on a video, and it's 16 minutes to go through it. And I know I went through it kind of quick, but I'm open to questions in the comments below, and I'll upload this video and put in Tara's information and Lisa's. If you want sound healing, she's very good at it, and I'll put them both in the descriptions. And so my name's Larry Fulmer. I'm an experiencer. I've been abducted. I can now say that I've been abducted since I was 10 years old. And I'm not going to specify much about programs or anything, but some of the earlier stuff that happened during the 70s and 80s with abductions, I know some things about it because I had it myself. And most of my experiences was as a slave soldier for negative humans and negative ETs. And that's why I got a thing about talking about them like I do. We don't so much seem to have the negative ETs anymore. I can tell you more about that on another video. Or you can go and watch Elena Danan video where she's talking about what happened to the negative grays. I'll leave that up to her. Y'all go there and find out. I'll keep my videos and stuff mostly to me, about me and what I've seen and what I've learned. And I appreciate you watching. Peace and love, people. Connect with Source. The power of love. Later.